Hey everyone, my name is Tasia. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a little different. Instead of a plan with me, I thought it would be fun to make some dividers. I posted on Instagram these dividers that I had made with a top-loading pocket, and a lot of you wanted to see a little tutorial. Just a little disclaimer, when I craft, I totally wing things. So I wing it and I just go to the beat of my own drum. So this might not be the way you would do it necessarily, and there might even be an easier way to do it, but this is what I did and it worked really well, so I am going to share it with you. We're going to be making these dividers for a personal wide, so the measurements that I'm going to be using is for a personal wide, but you can definitely translate it into any size planner you want. So yeah, I originally made these sparkly ones, and while they're gorgeous, they're just not me. I was like, I put them in my planner and it just didn't feel like my planner. So I printed out some pastel ones, which definitely are my speed, and that is what we're going to use. So I cut these out, so this is the only part where you're going to need maybe like a silhouette or a cricket or something like that. Hand cutting I think would be, I mean, you could print it out and you could just hand cut it and make it kind of boxy instead of cutting it out like that. It would work. If there's enough demand, let me know. If you guys want, I can list. They wouldn't be customizable, but maybe I could do some really general ones like this for the shop, and then that way you could take them home and craft yourself. But anyways, you're going to need some of that. You're going to need a pair of scissors. I use these cutting thingy-majiggies that my friend Sarah bought for me. They're really good. So I'm going to use that. We're going to use some laminating sheets, which water on it somehow, and then we're going to use a cutting board, and I think that's it. Oh, and a hole punch. So let's get started. I hope that this all goes according to plan. I have a feeling that me talking and doing this is going to lead to some errors, but that's okay. So I have this little scrap piece here, and this is what we're going to make the pocket with. We're basically laminating a sheet within a sheet to make the pocket. So to cut the pocket down to size, hopefully this is a good size that works for our measurements. It looks like it should. I just want to get it all nicely lined up. So the first cut that I'm going to make is going to be, so the measurements for a personal is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. But this top piece I'm going to make smaller than 4 3/4, and this is why I'm gonna want the punch not to interfere with the pocket very much. Can you guys see that line there? So that's where the pocket is, and that's where the extra laminate is. This one was a total flop because I cut it too close and I opened up the pocket on both ends. So we're going to try not to do that on this round. So with that being said, instead of 4 3/4, let's go to 4 1/4. We're going to want to take away about a ½ inch for the hole punch. So 4 1/4, slice that, and then we're going to measure 6 3/4 for the top. Whoa, so the exact measurement would be 6 3/4, but so you see how this one opened up? It's because I made it exactly 6 3/4 the whole way. If I add just a little bit extra, or excuse me, take away a little bit, so there is a little bit extra, I'm not going to cut into the pocket. So we're going to take it to 6 3/4, and then I'm just going to move it down like one line. Not even that much. I don't know what one line is. A 1/16? Terrible with math. Zach always does my math for me. So we have that cut made, and now we have what we're going to use for our pocket. To make a pocket when you're laminating, all you need to do is put the two shiny sides, which was originally the exterior, on the interior. And so that way when you laminate this in another pouch, this will not laminate together and it will remain separated like that. So let's put this on the side. And so we have our two sheets, and we're going to take off this first tab, and it's for the word month, and we're just going to put this along the edge like that. I hope you guys can see it. So we'll peel this off, and when we do stick this sticker on, we're not going to put the word month on the laminate. We're going to have it hang off because it's a tab. So just peel it off. And we're putting it on the frosty side because, again, the smooth side is going to be the inner side of the pocket. Just try to... I'm using my wrist to hold up so it doesn't stick to the laminate. Just try to get that as straight as possible. Yikes. I don't think that's gonna be straight. Let's try again. It is removable, so it's like okay, but it's like, yikes. How many times can I say like? Let's go this way instead. No, I don't want to do it that way because there's going to be a tiny little bit of extra. I have to do it this way. Okay, I think that's gonna work. Like that. And so see, when I said I didn't want to start from this edge, it's because there's just a tiny bit of overhang. And that's because we cut it just a tiny bit smaller than the 6 3/4. Let's peel this up just a little bit because it went slightly crooked right at the end. Fix that. So now we have that. Make sure you get all the bubbles out. If you have any, you can either pull it up to get the bubbles out or you can work it out. So now that we have that, we're gonna go ahead and take our next sheet. Again, shiny sides in. Make sure you don't have any lint or pixie hair. Pixie fuzz in my house gets everywhere. That is why she doesn't come to the office very much, because she sheds like no other. So put that like that. And now we're just going to put this in our next laminating sheet. So let me zoom out just a tiny bit so you can see the full picture. We're going to use my cutting board again just as a guide. I want to use these lines to make sure that I'm putting it down straight. Gosh, I wonder how my laminate got wet. It's weird. Okay, so we're just gonna open up the laminating pocket, and this is the time, if you have like die cuts or something like that that you don't want to waste, or if you wanted to trim this down so you don't laminate it and you have that extra sheet, you can. But I'm just going to be wasteful. And so I'm gonna bring it all the way to the bottom here so I know that this is straight. And the reason why I'm bringing it all the way to the bottom is because I'm going to put this line as close to the bottom as I can, leaving just a teeny bit left to make sure that it seals my pocket shut. If I was to put it flush and I laminated it, then the pocket would be going all the way through. So we're going to put this down. And again, it's just going to be slightly more, not by much. And when I say more, I just mean higher than this line here. And since, oh cruddy duds, this is the hardest part because you have the two slick sides together, they slide around. Let's try that again. Okay, and I was gonna say, once you have it down like this, because this is a sticker, I can use my finger and just push it down like that, and it helps keep it in place. The bottom side can still slide though, so once you put this second layer, it should hold it a bit easier. But again, if you wanted to trim this so that way you have this extra laminating sheet available, you could. And you know what, let's do that so we can use it for our next divider. And technically, oh crap, I'm not going to do it because I don't want to ruin this. Let's try again. I swear, and I mean crap's not a swear word, but I swear a lot when I'm driving and when I'm crafting. And they're actually swear words. They're not just the word crap. But anyways, so we have that. So now we can use that for later. And is that a piece of junk in my laminate? No, it's not. Thank goodness. I'm going to turn on my laminator. I'm going to run this through, and then I'll meet you back here to cut it down. All right, so we have the piece laminated, and now we're just gonna go ahead and trim it down to size. And this is the size that we're actually going to be using, which is 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Again, the only reason why we did that reduction was so the pocket would be safe within the laminate. So let's go ahead and do the 6 3/4 cut first. So I'm going to go ahead, I want to make the cut along this top because I'm going to be creating the pocket at this time. So I'm going to take it to 6 3/4, and if our measurements were correct, then when I drop this down and cut it, the pocket should open up. If the pocket does not open up when you're doing this, you can easily take a blade like one of these and a straight edge and just open up the backside. Just cut through one layer of the laminate and it will open it up. But I think this worked. So ta-da! We have our pocket. So we have that, and now we're going to go ahead and cut our 4 3/4. So I'm going to turn it this way, and I'm going to be using this pink, or like the top of this pocket here, so you can see that extra laminate. You do not want to cut into that laminate, because if you do, this will happen. Your whole thing will open up and you will be very unhappy. So just keep an eye on it. You can see that little, it's like a little bit of a floating, like a little bit of space in between the laminate, so don't cut into that. And that's just when you're going to be cutting the top. So 4 3/4 is there. Let's bring it down just a little bit. And so now we have room for our hole punch. You can see that there. And now we're going to go ahead and cut this tab portion. So I'm just going to cut right above the word month. And again, don't cut into that extra space, that little, or else you'll break the seal. And then we're going to cut this extra. You could leave this if you wanted to. But if you left it and you have the other tabs, you're not able to just grab that tab because this whole piece of plastic is going to be in the way. So I like to remove it. To remove it, my cutter has this wire on there, kind of like a guide. So basically, I'm sure yours has it too. I think it's pretty standard on these things. I just go right up the middle of the word month, and I stop before I hit the H, of course. And again, you just double check, make sure you're not cutting into that laminate, and we'll just stop right there because I can't see what I'm doing. So we have it right there, and then I'm just gonna take these little snips and I'm gonna finish the cutting. So this, I just freehand it, so let's cut it a little bit closer to the H, and then I'm also going to round these corners, and I don't do a very good job. I have a corner rounder at work for this very reason. But if you get the right flow and you just bend it like that, it'll just round it really nicely. Or if you have one of those, what are they called? Crocodiles or something like that. Those are pretty cool. Like that. I just basically am taking off that sharp edge because those pointy corners are so sharp. And now I'm going to attempt to do a little bit of a rounding cut and to there. And we want to meet right at that cut. And then we'll just clean it up. Oop, I'm out of camera. Basically, I'm just trying to take that edge like that. So now we have our divider, and it is a pocket. Next up, all you have to do is punch it. I have this hole punch, which I would not recommend. It is a piece of junk, and I only say that because I broke it last night. And it was because I was putting a piece of plastic in there, and then I punched it, and then the plastic got stuck in there, and I was so angry. It was such a nice thing that I was punching. I wish I had it to show you so you could share in my sorrow. But anyways, I'm not gonna punch it here only because I have a better punch at work. There's one, it's RAPESCO, I think. It's not that much better, but it's better than this. But basically you just punch it in and punch it. But that is my top divider. So I'm gonna go ahead and finish up the last 4, and then I'll meet you back here and show you what the final result is.
Baby, lost your tongue somewhere, don't know what to say. Stop and run around, oh you act like a kid. I am not your mama, just admit what you did. I got enough to do, then hang around and wait for you to grow up and be responsible. Excuses when I simply don't care. Why don't you just move on? We ain't going nowhere. I got enough to do, then hang around and wait for you. I said I got enough to do, then sit around and wait for you to grow up, yeah, and be responsible.
Okay, so we have 2 done so far. We're going to move on to the 3rd, and I thought I would walk you through it one more time just in case. So we'll put those on the side. So far, so good. We got top loading pockets, and we have no holes on the bottom. So I am pretty happy. So again, we're going to take our extra sheet of laminate, and we're going to cut down to 4 1/4 for the width. And again, the normal width is 4 3/4. So again, if you're using a different type of planner, deduct a 1/2 inch or around there, depending on your hole punch. If you're using one of these types of hole punches, then you'll want to know, how deep in it's punching. If you're using a single hand punch, then you have a little more wiggle room because you can adjust it accordingly. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we'll flip it over and do the 6 3/4. Again, 6 3/4, and then down 1 line, which is a 1/16, I believe. Like that. We're gonna make our pocket again by just flipping this around and putting shiny sides together. And then let's go ahead and put that home sticker on. So we're gonna put the home sticker on. I don't think you can see it better on there, so I'm gonna just continue to work on my desk. But again, you're putting the sticker on the fuzzier side of the two, not the slick side, but the textured side. So we'll peel this off. And then we'll put this on. If you do have a silhouette, this is really easy to make. I measured this, let me hold on just a second. I need to think before I start talking about measurements. Make sure that goes on straight. Perfect. So basically all I did was make a rectangle. It's like a 1/2 inch wide, and then the length of the insert, and then I made my little words, and then you just weld it together. Super easy. So we're gonna do that. Put the pockets. Let me grab another laminating sheet. And I think because you're putting the laminate within a laminate, it's like extra sturdy. So you don't need to use a super sturdy laminate. I think this might be like a 5 mil. It's not super sturdy, and I like it because it's easy to get into the pocket that way. It's just, and it's cheaper, I think. So let's put this down as the guide. If you had one of those big measuring mats, that would be a lot easier to use than this, because I have to open it up and then wiggle it in, but make do with what you got. If you don't have one of these, just find something that you can use as a marker to make sure you're going down straight. Another thing, when you're using, if you're making these at home and you want to just cut it out on construction paper, do it, and then just use like sticky tape and stick it on there. Just and you don't need to do the whole thing, just tack it on there so it works. But there's lots of different variations that you can do with this. Michael's has so much pretty paper that you could use. Get that fuzz out. Okay, so again, make sure that your pocket is nice and lined up and that it's free of all pixie fuzz. She is coming to haunt me in this thing. Okay, so nice and lined up, corners are together on both the top and the bottom. Like that. And then you're just going to put it, follow a line. Like that. And get it almost to the bottom, but not. And put all the stickers down. Again, it's just about a 1/16 away from the edge, and that is just so the two laminate sheets can come together and stick. And yeah, so we're gonna seal this up. Pull it out, slide it back in so we can trim off so we can use this for our next one. We don't want to get too close. So this again is for our pocket for the next one, and then we're going to run this through the laminator. I have two different laminators. I have like this Scotch one that I got from Target, and then I have this other one. I think it's called an Apache or something like that. I like the one from Target better. It was cheaper. It does the job. There's something about this other one, I don't know, something always bad happens. So I think any laminator will work. Just make sure it's strong enough to do whatever thickness laminate sheet that you're using. So my laminator is heating up. I'm gonna run this through and then I will trim it again with you. Alright, so it has been pushed through the laminator, and now we're going to trim it down. So again, we're going to do 6 3/4. This is going to be an exact cut. And this is what is making our pocket. And again, it just cuts right through, makes a cute little pocket. And next up, we're gonna do 4 3/4, and you're going to measure that from the top line of this and not the top line of the word home. Like that. And then we're gonna go ahead and trim off all of this extra stuff. So right above the word home. And then we're going to cut right up the middle of the word. That's my guide. Stop right about there. Line up the cut. Right there. Because again, if you cut into the laminate, your whole pocket is going to open up. You are not going to be happy. So we'll go ahead and cut this. Like that. If you had like a pick scan sheet with your silhouette or something like that, you could do that if you wanted it to be like really fancy, but this is just for personal use, and honestly it doesn't bother me much. If I were to want to sell these or something like that, then you're definitely going to want to invest in making this a little more professionally done. But so we have that, and then let's go ahead and just nip off these corners because they are gougy. Have you ever gotten one of the little laminating corners under your fingernail? Oh my goodness, it hurts. So I'm just nipping off the corners, slightly rounding like that. And now let's see what they look like so far. So we have the 3. I like that. I like it. I can't talk. I really like how that's coming along. Really pretty, really pastel. Everything is lining up. And honestly, if it was like this or something like that, you know, where you could see the other color behind it, don't even worry about it, because you're going to put the inserts behind this, so you're not going to see them all close together. If you're kind of overlapping, again, don't worry, because you're going to have them separated slightly. So the imperfections that you see when they're all gathered up really closely are going to be really minor when you put them into your planner, and you're going to feel really good because you made these yourself. I'm going to finish up with these last 2, and that is it. I really want to hole punch these, but I'm really afraid of this hole puncher. Let's put some old laminate like this one that's all messed up and see if it works. If it does, then I'll punch it, because I would love to show you guys the end result. Okay, here goes nothing. You gotta like give it really good oomph. It worked. Let's risk it. So let's put it in. I liked this one. I think if you just don't try to do like super thick stuff like I did, then it's no problem, because there's a guide so you can center it and everything. Just don't be shoving. I was trying to shove like 6 pieces of plastic in there at once. It really was my fault, but it's too late now. Okay, cool. So that is what they're looking like so far. Again, I'm going to finish these last 2, and then I'll meet you back here with them in the planner. Alright, so I have the tabs in my planner. This planner is it's from Foxy Fix. Again, it's a personal wide, and it's the ring. I like it because of the closure. It's kind of like a TN, has that nice elastic. I just like it a little bit more than a button snap. But anyways, this is the finished product. So you have your month and then your week. And the weeks I have in there, I'm testing out these inserts that I'm making, see how I like them. And then you have your home section, and currently I just have budget in there. Yes, so that's what's going on there. And then work, and then ideas. So again, all of them are pocketed, which is super neat because you can put cute little things in there. So say you had this little sticker sheet, you want to slide it in there. Get in there. you can, or whatever you want, you know. That way it can be, you can decorate it to the season. If you wanted to cut down scrapbook paper to fit in there or something like that, you could do that as well. And then I just have some lined paper. So that is it, you guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Definitely, if you make some tabs of your own, be sure to tag me. I would love to see it. And let me know if you guys want the stickers like this in the shop so you can make them at home if you don't have a silhouette. I would be open to doing that too. So yeah, until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.